So as I was heading back to the truck, I found, look what I found. This is my trail. So I was walking, and there you go. Nice, perfect point. There you go. Amazing. Hello there. I'm trying another spot here. This is basically the same area I've been covering. It's a large area. Usually I go down there, but I'm trying this new location. What you see in the back, that's the US. That's Laredo, Texas. So I'm in the Mexican side. The Rio Grande runs down there, but you can't see it. You have to go actually down there. But right now I'm concentrating here. I'm focusing my efforts on this area right here. And just now I found this little guy. I found it over there. So this is like an ancient tool that was used. Hopefully I'll find a point. So as I keep looking out in this new area, this is part of a big area I usually come, but this is a spot I never realized that I could, look for points. So that's the US, this is the Mexican side, and I found this little guy over here, but unfortunately it's broken. Yep, you can see it was something, but it's broken. So, and I had to dig it up with because the soil is really hard. You can't do it with your fingers or your nails. So what I did, I was just like doing this in order to dig it up. But anyway, we'll keep going. Hopefully a point will come. So this is what I think. Every time I find any of those broken, flames or pieces, you usually find, at least here in the Mexico-Texas border, you find a lot of those white shells. Are they petrified shells? Maybe. But every time there's a shell, there's a chance of finding broken, ancient cutters or scrapers, and of course arrowheads. So I'm looking here, and there are lots of pieces. Maybe this was some sort of a cutter, and there's another thing there. Looks like something, but broken. So I'll keep looking. So I'm here still looking, and here's what I stumbled with. There you go. So I just walking by, and it's it's just sitting on the top, which is usually how I find them here. You can see the corner, it's broken, sadly. Here's a broken corner, but all in all, it's a good point, and looks like a triangular tear-shaped form, which is normal. It's kind of normal to find it here in the Mexico-US border. That's Laredo, Texas over there. You can actually see Laredo Community College over there. Then there's the river which divides the two countries, and this is the Mexican side. This is Nuevo Laredo. So I'll keep looking. So I also wanted to talk about the temperature here in northern Mexico or South Texas, however you want to see it. And because the heat is really starting to get up, and it's barely past 11 in the morning. We're almost 40 degrees. I know there are places that may be hotter, but still I have to remind everyone that it's better to keep safe. So I'll be just a brief more time before I get some shade, because as you can see here, there are no trees except over here. Look, what's this? So here's something. Looks like a big one, like a really big one. Oh, let me see if I can. There you go. It's really hot. Let me put it on the floor because it's really hot. It's big, but it's broken from here. So, but you can see the form, almost tear-shaped form, and was probably like this. So a lot of broken pieces today, a lot of sun. I don't know if you can hear the sound in the distance. That's the border patrol. Like over there, they have like boats and stuff. But yeah, that's the US. You can actually see, you can actually see traffic over there. That's Laredo Community College, LCC. And the river must be down there, which is the green part. I'm almost there. But this is the Mexican side. Yeah. So few more minutes and I'll call it a day because it's really hot. Really hot. You can see there are a lot of, small gathering of these shells, if you will. And they're usually piled, or used to be piled, and now they're scattered, but like in a consistent area. Because if you go over here, there's nothing. You go over here, there's nothing. But here, you can see them all clustered in, and usually they're nearby these stones. They are usually dark, really rough stones, maybe grinders, I don't know. But it is interesting to know the association between these white shells, probably from the Rio Grande, and how they're clustered, gathered, or collected. I don't know. But to me that's significant. I'm still looking for any points. So right now I just found this one. But it's like, used to be like a piece of a larger one. I'm still taking it. So that's it. I'm calling it a day. It's really hot. So I have to analyze what I found today. So as I was heading back to the truck, I found, look what I found. This is my trail. So I was walking, and there you go. Nice, perfect point. There you go. Amazing. So this triangular shape is like the trademark of this area of the border. So you can find a lot of these in South Texas and somewhat in northern Mexico, especially here in Tamaulipas. I'm in Tamaulipas state. So I saw another one. Maybe this is another one. I don't know. Yeah, it looks like one, but it has the tip. You can see the tip. It's broken. Oh, it's really hot. They're so hot. You can't touch them. Oh, it's really hot. I guess because of the exposure to the sun. Now imagine how many years have they survived the elements. This one's really nice. And this one's cool. So cool. Broken and all, but I have a thing for falling with the broken arrowheads. I'm looking for more because this place looks great. And here's the thing. So this is the area. I'm guessing some trucks may pass here. A lot of people come here to run, and to find this one intact like back in the day, it's really amazing. So a lot of people, what you can see, that's the water treatment plant over there. You can barely see a little piece of America over there, but this is Mexico. Now this is the Mexican side, and a lot of people come here running. There are actually like signs. Let me show you, because this is an area where a lot of people come. Well, not a lot of people, but this is extreme route. So if you want to run like a difficult path, that's the way to go. And over here it says ruta normal, which is normal route. So that's if you wanna, run but not so hard. You don't wanna get any challenges. But the challenge here for me is to figure out how how this little guy survived here. And you know, this is an area I've been back and forth. There's another thing. There's another one. Let me see. Let me see. So that's another one. It's like the bottom side. Like the bottom side of a large one. Because you can see like the sides would continue over here. But this is more triangular one. My daughters call them the Dorito arrowheads because they look like Doritos, you know, to be honest. So I'm looking for more, and yes, there are more things. You know, it's strange. I've been here a lot. Yeah, this looks like something. Broken tip, broken bottom, but still, like I said, I don't care. I love broken ones. So this is what I have so far. Just an accident, a fluke, if you will. So I'm taking these. You know, and as human nature goes, I want more. So, but I can't find any more. Yeah, looks like a good spot. And to me, again, this is surprising because I've been here a lot. I used to run here. And now I found one complete, one with a broken tip, and these two little misfits over here. I don't mind. They're a good catch. I don't mind at all. So I think that's it. So I'm officially, like, really calling it a day now because it's really hot. My head is burning, like huge, you know, strong headache. The sun, it's on the top of my head. That's no good. You can see, like, from the shadows, there are no shadows. And this is the time of the day to be inside, but I'm not. You know, I should be still looking for more, but no. So okay, I'm gonna stop now and see what I can find. You know, do the analysis of what we found.
So here's the analysis. We're gonna start with this one. This is beautiful. This is awesome. Look at that color. I mean, if you see the color against the backdrop of the desert, there is no contrast. So in order to find one of these, you need to have a good eye or a sense of where they may be. Or maybe some kind of glittering from or shining from the sun, because sometimes the sun reflects the light upon them and they may shine, especially because they are so smooth in the surface, and that smoothness makes them shiny. So that's a good idea to look for something shiny or odd shadows, if you will. But this day, at that hour, there were no shadows. There was a difficult time of the day to find. The thing is that in the desert, it's very hot, especially if you're not, or you have never gone to Texas or New Mexico or what have you. It's really, really hot, especially down there in the Rio Grande River. Now, thing is that whenever it's very hot, I try to go early. And I went that morning. It was a morning, but the sun went up really quick. So for me to find this one, it's amazing to find something like this. The color is beautiful, but let alone the shape of it. If you can see, it's a delta shape perfect Dorito shaped point. This is amazing. I love this point. Now, spearheads like this, or arrowheads, in this region, especially in this region of northeastern Mexico, and I'm talking about the border, the US-Mexico border, you can find these kind of points. You can see they are like a delta, like a triangle, perfect triangle almost. Now look at this. You can see the work, how craftsmanship was applied to this piece. And even though, it's small, yes, it's small, but in order to accomplish something like this in such a small piece, you need to have patience, but above all, craftsmanship. And a certain degree of artistry and control and knowing your tools as well in order to create this beauty. I mean, it is beautiful, but in those days, it was not only about beauty, but also about the use they could have. So it's like today, pretty things are cool, but you need to have good use of them. And in this case, they were used as arrowheads or spearheads in some cases, or probably as religious practices. And I'll go back to that in a minute. This is a small piece I liked. I have found so much of these and shards, and especially a lot of broken pieces that I have actually, believe it or not, left behind, because there are so many. I have found so many that I have to decide, and sometimes I leave behind a lot. But in this case, you can see how even the broken ones, the ones that look like broken pieces, because they are broken pieces, even though sometimes I leave them behind because there are so many. I have so many now, you won't believe it. And the thing is, they are rocks after all. They are rocks, and rocks have weight, and it can be a hassle because they are heavy. They are rocks. Now, so a lot of them I just decide to leave behind. And I made this decision because they are so heavy. I even had to bring up a backpack in the heat of the summer. It's really hard to have a backpack and have rocks pulling a weight on your backpack. So this piece is really interesting. I like this piece just because of the shape of it, and you can see how there is some kind of indentation, which I believe may have been used as a cutter, and not only as to cut things, but probably strings, probably fiber, probably leather. I don't know, but the way, because sometimes I can show you the picture, I can show you the video, but once you're there in the middle of the desert, in the Rio Grande River, and you see one of these in the middle of nowhere, you know it's a tool, and you know you can do things MacGyver style. Now, when you see something more precise, like this one, like you see the shape, it can be helpful to create fibers, like I was telling you, out of trees, out of branches. I don't know, because I'm not a person from that era, from that time. But I can tell you this, being in the middle of nowhere, because it's nowhere. I often hear people that go to the outdoors or to national parks that they want to be in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, okay. But being in the Rio Grande, in the middle of the big desert expanse of the US-Mexico border, it does make you feel small. That's number one. But number two, whenever things may get greedy, anything goes as a tool. But once you find something like this, you know this is a tool. So that's why I focused on this one as a highlight of today's analysis. Now this is interesting. I don't know how to explain it. It's just a hunch. But often as I go to this area, and it's not a small area, like I told you, the desert area in the US-Mexico border is really big. It's huge. And to find, you see a lot of things, the good and the bad. The nature-wise, but also things made by humans. You see a lot of things, a lot of freak things, if you will. But one thing that I've seen consistently in the U.S.-Mexico border, at least in this area, is that whenever I find a concentration, whenever I find a pile of these shells, white shells, I always find nearby points, arrowheads, a lot of broken pieces as well, napped pieces, and especially those black dark rocks. Now, I don't know what those rocks are. I'm not a geologist, but they don't look like the rest of the rocks in the area, because usually in the area they're pebbles, they're shiny, they're colorful pebbles in the area along the Rio Grande River, especially in this area. But I don't see these kind of rocks. Actually, you don't see rocks, you see pebbles, like roundish pebbles, river rocks. You don't see rocks like in the Rockies. Want to figure something like that. But this rock, usually when I see this pile of shells, I see these dark black rocks, and there, in this case it's just one, but I've seen many, sometimes like as much as, I want to say 6, 7, 3, it depends, but usually it's around 5ish that I see. Sometimes around the shell, sometimes in the middle of the shell, sometimes nearby the shells, but they are always around. And these rocks, they're almost like the size of my fist. So if you close your hand, you have your fist, that's the size. And the size, it's always consistent of those black rocks. What are they? What are those shells, those piles? Why do I always find interesting around those things? I don't know, and I haven't been able to decipher that, because it's really interesting thing to think about. And whenever I go to sleep, I will think about it, and I go wild about theories. I have many theories, but I don't know what they are. But surely enough, they have to be human-made at some point or somehow. So that's the deal with the shells. Then we have this beauty right here. Oh my god, this is gorgeous. This arrowhead or spearhead, like I said, I don't know, in a previous video I talked about is that we usually call them arrowheads, but they may have well been used as a purpose of as a spearhead, as a javelin. But this one, it's beautiful. You can see the point perfectly made. The color, it's a dark grayish color, almost with a bit of a blue hue here and there whenever you see the reflection of the sun in it. But I like this one, and the way it was created, the way it was conceived. I always like the way they end up, because they each of them have a different personality, and you can see by the lines of the different ways it was napped. Even though there's a precise method and technique, and you can see it always, even though with that in mind, you can see that because each pebble, each rock, it's different, it does convey a different personality. And I know they're not living things, but I see them as a different personality, each one of them, with these lines and the way faces are napped, and how they behaved during their creation, in the sense of how did they broke away their pieces in order to be created. Because in order to be created, you need to break a lot. I mean a lot. You need a big pebble in order to be napping, and you keep hitting, and you keep knocking until you get to the core, because they're actually the core of the pebble. This is why I love it. I mean, it's beauty, it's nature, both at the same time. Man-made beauty and nature as well, exposed in this artifact. Now, this one, it's another piece I found. Like I said, sometimes I find these pieces and I just leave them there, examine them and then leave them there. But in this case, I just wanted to show you how I find broken spear-like pieces or big arrowheads, I don't know what they were, but they're broken, and they're always consistently broken almost the same way. So I'm showing you here with my finger how I could recreate the form that could have, but it doesn't. Now, I have found entire pieces, make no mistake about it, but at least in this area of the Coyote Creek, because the area is called Coyote Creek, I see consistently, day by day, that I find a lot of these broken pieces. And I either find just the base, if you want to see it as a base, or the point side of the spearhead or the arrowhead. And in this case, I found the base. I like I said in the previous video, I always try my best to find the other missing piece, and I'm looking for the other half. I'm here and there in the same area. Sometimes I go in circles and I don't find it. I always find one half of the piece. Why? I don't know. Was it something religious? Was it war related? Was it that they were hunting an animal and probably the animal ran away with it? I don't know. Or maybe whenever they broke, and this is something I've seen, probably one of the pieces were used and recycled. And yes, a lot of pieces that you see as cutters and scrapers, they were recycled pieces of bigger pieces, either spears, arrowheads, I don't know. But I've seen that kind of recycling going on. And this happened centuries, probably millennia ago. So this is interesting to see anyway. And a good idea of what you could find in the area. Now this one's really cute. I love it. Even though it's missing its point, this arrowhead, it's so... I mean, I just fell in love with it because, I was talking to you about the personality each of these pieces have. And even though they're just artifacts like that, and they're just laying around, that's also the whole point. That to find something like this laying around for hundreds of years or thousands of years, who knows? And I'm just barely touching it again. And to see missing a point, you can see the tip of it missing. It's also amazing because it may tell a story. Of course, this artifact, it's mute, but it's nonetheless witness to the passing of history. And to me, besides the beauty, physical beauty of it, because come on, look at it. You can see the way it was napped, the lines going as the shards were knocked away to create this beautiful form. It's almost like a teardrop shaped form, the unstemmed tradition of South Texas and Northeastern Mexico, especially here in the border. This is the tradition that goes on with arrowheads and spearheads. But yeah, it's not only the physical side of it, but also the context that you're finding it in the middle of nowhere, in the desert, in such a dangerous place, in such a contested area and controversial as well. And you find this evidence of ancient humans roaming around for who knows how long and since when. This is really interesting, and to be so near the Rio Grande River does give you perspective. So this area I was looking at, I'm just, you could say, some yards away from the Rio Grande River. So this is basically the banks of the river. So it's really interesting to think all of that. So thank you so much for listening all the way to my analysis and keeping up with my adventures. I not only have adventures of this kind in the archaeological sense or in the nature trekking sense. You can also follow all of my other adventures here in my channel. Please subscribe if you want to see more. If you don't, well, that's on you.